So step one, you want to loosen the strings off. I really should be replacing these strings, but I'm not going to, just because I don't have any new strings at the moment. What I do is loosen them all off as much as possible, and then I just get an elastic band or a hair tie, and as you can see here, just tie it back using, to pull it out the way. That E string's a bit problematic there, but yeah, look, pull it out of the way. I can now access the pickups in the back of the guitar, fine. Cool, so now I'm going to do the same on the Epiphone. Sweet, so I'm going to jump in with some overdub here so you can kind of hear what's going on, and I can give some tips along the way. I'm using a string winder there just to quickly loosen the strings. Yeah, and you need something, you might be able to see the LTD is laying on, it's actually on some socks and a few cloths, just so the headstock isn't touching the table. But you want quite a large table, you can't quite tell, but this is actually a huge desk I'm using. The more space the better, really. So yeah, take your time. Once the strings are nice and loose, you can grab your hair tie or elastic band, loop it around the back, tie the strings back, and you're good to go. When using a screwdriver as well, do make sure you use the right size tip, the right size end of the screwdriver. There are differences. If you've got smaller screws or larger ones, make sure it fits snugly in there. You don't want to burr out your screws. It's just laying over a cardboard. It's actually like the back of a whiteboard there, so that's quite soft cardboard. I'm happy to lay my guitar down there. Another tip there is, you can probably see I'm putting the screws into a little tub. There's a little tub that I keep my picks in. But anyway, I'm using that, and on the other side there's a little tin. That'll be for the other guitar. You don't want to lose screws, you don't just want to have them lying on the table and get up and flick them all over the room. Now, most importantly, which you probably won't see me doing, I'm going to pull on the neck pickup. Okay, so I can see this cable. You do see the neck pickup. So I'm going to make a note of how that's wired in. And then I'm going to pull on the bridge pickup here. Okay, and I can see that second cable there is moving. So the bridge pickup is the one with that little bit of tape around it. The cables are both black there, so I wanted to see which one was the bridge and which one was the neck and how it was wired up. What I was going to say is, make sure you take pictures. You see I've got a notepad there as well. I'm writing things down as I go. I'm saying which cable is attached to where, just as a reference. In the back of the Les Paul, the neck pickup had a red cable and the bridge had a black cable, so it was easier for me to look into. However, it's a cluster of cables back there. It really is. So take pictures, take notes, get some tape as well. That's something else you'll need. Screwdriver, tin, that's it. Some tape, of course a soldering iron, but we'll get to that later. Alright, so unscrewing the Les Paul Custom pickups now. Just on the plastic casing, I'm not unscrewing that middle spring screw that is either side of the pickup. Don't unscrew that, just unscrew the 4 on the outside of the plastic casing. Later on you can adjust the height of the pickups with those 2 middle screws. That's what they do, they can raise or lower the pickup. Cool, flip it over. I'm not sure how clear you can see this, but I can see the red cable. One's going into the pot. One's going onto, I guess, some sort of switch selector. I'm not really sure. Not sure how to name all of these components, but I've noted down where the black, which is the bridge pickup, where that's sort of wired into. Same for that. And then this is a bit messy, but this is the LTD. And we got the neck pickup there down to a tiny little pot in there, which you probably can't see. But it's one wired to the pickup selector. That's the pickup selector there. And then one, it's like this beefy one. So what I guess that is the equivalent of that. And then that small one's to a switch, or is that a switch under there too? All right, let me figure this out. Well, I guess it's time to start just removing the pickups. You're going to need a soldering iron. I've got some solder for when I put the other ones on, or at least try to. Yeah, you've just got to heat up. So this isn't hot enough yet, but I can see there's the connection point. I'm just going to leave the soldering iron side of it on that point until it's nice and hot and it loosens up, and then I'll remove that wire, and then I'll do the same for the other pickup, for the bridge pickup. Then I'll do the same on the LTD. Then I'm going to swap the pickups, secure them in, then I'm going to figure out the wiring. Is this the right order to go in? Let's find out. Here goes nothing. Yep, so here we go. I'm holding that hot soldering iron onto that piece of solder, slowly or gently pulling on the wire, just to provide a little bit of tension. So once it heats up, it pops off nicely. But I'm not pulling it, that's for sure. Okay, so that's the Les Paul pickups. Sweet, disconnected the Les Paul pickups. Taping everything away. Ah yes, do that because you start melting cables, as I may have experienced. There we go. Same thing with the LTD.
Okay, that's the LTD pickups.
I didn't film that part.
Disconnected. Let's pull them out.
Same thing. So, pickups are now removed. Note that I'm leaving that plastic casing on. I measured it up beforehand, it's the same size.
My Seymour Duncan. I keep extra cable. I don't cut it short.
Yeah, don't worry about additional cable there. You want more. It's better to have more than not enough, that's for sure. Cool, now I'm just screwing them in. I did find that the casing was quite tight actually on the LTD, but it fit nicely and you can't really notice it. So yeah, it was cool. By the way, I'm not a electronics specialist or an electrical engineer. Not that you would have been able to tell that, of course, but I'm just saying that anyone with sort of just some basic DIY skills can do this. You do have to be quite patient though, and it might seem daunting at first, but it's doable. Cool. Let's pull up. This is what I was really looking forward to. I have been wanting to put these pickups on this black Les Paul for a while. It gives it that real nice slash look. There's a black Les Paul slash plays, which I think is a custom with the uncovered pickups like this, and it just looks so cool. So as I was fitting this, I'm thinking, I'm probably saying like, oh, this is going to look incredible over and over again. And we'll all see soon that it sure does. Again, that plastic covering was pretty tight. That's just straight from the LTD, but I measured it before. It's like, look, it is the same size. Maybe the tolerances are not perfect here, but hey, it's screwed in. It looks great. It fits nice and snugly, and that's what we want. So feeding the cable through, pulling it through the back. So I'm just pulling the cables through, not really worrying about it, and screwing in the pickups. Screwing them down nice and tight. And getting ready to solder the connections together. and then hoping that I've done it in the right place and that it will actually work. So here I go, my head's covering the cavity there. I thought having the camera above would have been a little closer, but no. Either way, you can sort of see what I'm doing. I explained earlier. Well, I think it's done. I guess time for the moment of truth. Sweet, I've both plugged them in just to my tuner, my Zoom tuner down here. They're both working, so that's incredible. I'll have to raise the lower the pickups on the LTD here. You can see it's very high. It's just about touching that E string, which is in tune at the moment. So I'll lower that. That will sound horrific as it is. And I may need to higher them on this. That looks so cool, man. Yeah, I'll definitely need to raise the pickup, that pickup there, which I'll do that now. I'm also just going to look at the pickup selector here because that hasn't been working properly. Try and solder something in whilst everything's out and ready, and then we're going to do a sound check.